Welcome to the On Deck with Dink and LaToya podcast show. And let
Happy
me tell you
Sunday,
something, LaToya.
everybody.
Hey, LaToya, happy Sunday to you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
LaToya, I'm telling you right now, I'm all in the spirit. I might get me a shout on today.
Get it on.
I'm
Get it
all
on.
in the spirit. I feel it. I've been listening to Jacayla, Marvin, Warren, every chapter you can name them. John P. Key.
Hey.
I'm telling you right now. Hey, this song here, Tish. So glad I made it. Hey, we made it, Tish. We made it to another Sunday.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
You know, hey, Tish, somebody didn't wake up this morning.
Hey.
You know? But nevertheless, welcome everybody. Welcome. Hey, y'all know what it is, you all. Like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel On Deck with Dink and LaToya.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Like, share. Oh, my volume was up on my phone. I almost double liked.
You're so unprofessional right now.
I know, right? Look, Tish, I'm all over the place. My professor would have gave me an F. Remember, you all out of order. But nevertheless, LaToya, how was your weekend?
It was great.
My
weekend was great.
Great weekend. Very
yes, I went to Nashville and went to the R&B tour. They put on an amazing show. Like 56 songs. 56 songs.
56?
And that poor little girl that went viral, I was able to see that firsthand. It was weird, but God bless her. I hope she's doing okay today.
But it was a malfunction or something?
Well, you know, they go up on that stage and they know what they're anticipating when they go on that stage with them. She wasn't
You ain't going up on that stage to read a Bible scripture.
She definitely didn't.
Better believe that.
She walked on that stage with total like control, like she was ready for it. And poor little baby, I saw her lips shivering. I was like, oh wow.
Oh boy, I hope she ain't got a husband or a boyfriend, because that show would have ended. It definitely would have ended. But nevertheless, LaToya, my weekend was peaceful. You know, I just kind of relaxed a little bit. We shot my good buddy, Matthew DeLoach. We shot his commercial yesterday. Show is vintage.
Okay.
We're gonna drop the commercial tomorrow, and it was really fun. We support our own. We patronize our own. LaToya, I truly believe it's under 50 days now. Hey, let me tell y'all something, ladies and gentlemen. The Alumni Naval Ball weekend is right around the corner, y'all. It's right around. LaToya, it's right around the corner.
And you know, it's everything that we thought was going to be. Everybody who waited the entire 6 months not to purchase tickets, and now we're seeing a fluctuation of the last minute. People want to get a ticket, but it's cool. Get your ticket. Come on, we want you there. We wanted you to get your ticket a long time ago. But you don't care how you get there. Just get there.
Thank
God. It's going to be an amazing night.
We got a few left.
Yeah.
Ain't got that many, but we got some. You better press that button, because it's going to be a phenomenal weekend. The Alumni Social is September the 11th. The Alumni Naval Ball is September the 12th. I'm telling you all, it is going to be memorable. It's going to be exciting, emotional. It's going to be funny. You're going to see your classmates you ain't seen in 20, 30, 40 years. You're going to see some of your teachers you haven't seen, our honorees, and man, it's a star-studded lineup for that weekend.
It is.
Star-studded.
It is.
You know, so we are definitely.
I don't have a lot to say about it at this point. It's one of those. Seeing is believing. Seeing is believing.
Seeing is believing. I tell you what, LaToya, ladies and gentlemen, you all are in for a treat tonight.
Oh yeah.
This young lady we got coming up on this platform, let me tell you something. We've been anticipating it all week.
Oh, yeah.
You all been inquiring about it. You guys have really been, liking and sharing and really active, with her flyer. And she's going to bless some people tonight with her amazing story, her journey to stardom. And we're excited about it.
And you know what,
I'm telling you, we're excited about it. Yeah, come on with it.
For me, it really resonated as a woman, as a mother. Mm-hmm. I love those type of stories. I love to see a sister win. I love our guys too. I root for our guys, but I'm definitely team woman. You know what I'm saying? I love to see women win. And her story, man, she's a champion. She's a champion.
Let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna do. Let me get. Me, Tish. I gotta make sure my volume is correct.
You're good.
Especially on this, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get this show started. Once again, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, On Deck with Dink and LaToya. Share the live. We on YouTube Live. We are on Facebook Live, and we're about to get this. We're about to get this party started because I know you all are and been anticipating this. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss LaToya Campbell. Look, she got my last name. We got to dive deep into that because we might be relative.
Hey.
LaToya Campbell was born in St. Louis, Missouri. She is 47 years old. She graduated from our alma mater, the Cleveland NJROTC High School. Look at LaToya at the age of 16.
Man.
Good golly, Miss Molly, show like the party. I tell you what, you graduating that early, you can add more than just 2 + 2. LaToya returned to school at the age of 28 and received a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing from, I believe, Goldfarb School of Nursing. She'll correct me if I pronounced it wrong. In 2013, she has spent her entire tenure as an operating room nurse. Woo! I bet some of the things she has seen.
Man.
In May of this year, LaToya graduated with a Master's of Science degree in nursing from the Webster University. She is currently the assistant nurse manager in the operating room at my favorite hospital, Missouri Baptist Medical
Mine too.
She has a certification in operating room nursing. LaToya is a member of the Greater St. Louis, I believe, Incorporated Leadership Fellows Program. She is the co-lead of BJC's Diverse Nurses Connection Group. And LaToya resides on the MBMC's Management Council. She has been a recipient of 3 BJC nursing scholarships, LaToya. 3. I was blessed to get 1. She got 3. You talk about a blessing. Woo! LaToya has 4 children. A son is 31 years old, a daughter that's 26, and twin boys that's 21 years old. LaToya, I hope for some twins, but it never happened. Check this out, y'all. When LaToya has, in her free time, she enjoys traveling, attending concerts, and hosting family and friends functions. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, put your hands together for none other than Miss LaToya Campbell.
How you
doing?
I am well. I am very well. Thank you for that amazing introduction.
Oh man!
Guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, it's all true.
It's you.
It's all true.
It's you. It's your story.
To God be the glory. To God be the glory always.
Let me tell you something. I told LaToya, I'm in the spirit tonight, LaToya. If I get up and run around my kitchen table, don't pay me no attention. Because I'm feeling it.
I was so happy that your brother reached out to us and, told us about your story because we would have never known this amazing story. Man.
My brother Ephraim is awesome. He completely shocked me when he called me. But I'm grateful for the opportunity, and hopefully my testimony will bless someone else.
They blessed me already.
I tell you what, shout out to Ephraim Campbell. Oh, that's my partner there, old Ephraim. Let me tell y'all something. We played basketball. Ephraim was, man, he was just dominant.
Hold on. This is not Ephraim's story. You're not about to take her shot.
I
told you I'm team women.
Yeah, we just, but Ephraim, got out,
I'm just saying.
He gave a recommendation, but shout out to E, man, great guy. But nevertheless, you all, if you guys are just joining the platform, we have LaToya Campbell, class of 1996 in the building. Cleveland NJROTC.
Like 1996 by default. Like she graduated at 16.
By default. My original class was 97, but I graduated in 96.
So that.
Yeah, go on, Letitia. I'm right now. I want to get into that.
Okay, like to be 16, you were pregnant. You were on your way to alternative school for pregnant young ladies, and you graduated at 16 while being pregnant. Like, tell us about that. Like, you had to really work hard. That's a lot.
Yeah, so that's where my journey began. I was your stereotypical story of a Black teenage mother. Everything that statistics say that we are supposed to be, I was that. I was young, I was pregnant, I was on every kind of government assistance program that there is, but God had a plan. So I got pregnant at 15, my sophomore year, and I was going to transfer to continuing education. Back then that was the place for teen moms. You had to leave your school and go to alternative school. So as you guys know, with ROTC, whenever you transferred, you had to go around to all your classes and turn everything in, turn your uniforms in, all of that. So I went through that whole process, turned in all my uniforms, all my books. And I'll never forget, I stopped by the office on my way out. And I think that's when God's hand first appeared in my life. As I was getting ready to leave the school, Mr. Kelly was in the office. And he said, where you going? I said, I'm pregnant, Mr. Kelly. I got to transfer to continuing ed. And he said, no, you're not. He made me go get back everything, every book, every uniform. He made me go get it back. And I believe that's when God first intervened in my life. I had my son the summer after my sophomore year. Went back my junior year. I said, here I am. I'm a mom. I got a child to take care of now. I have to figure this out. So I decided to take night classes to get those extra credits so that I could graduate early. I ended up graduating my junior year. From there, I went straight to school, to trade school to be a medical assistant. So I graduated in May. I started school in June. I was 17 years old, and by the time I was 18, I had my first full-time job.
Wow. I'm gonna tell you. You know what? We're gonna. Oh man, I'm a little man.
I already got my next question. I don't want to take it from you.
Let me get it to go ahead, Letitia, because this is, man. You talking about
my question for you. I'm listening to you. Like 16. Think about 16. We outside playing. We're kids. We don't know much. We're irresponsible. We don't listen to our parents. We're those people. But at 16, you were making adult decisions.
Decisions. That's
right. You didn't run. You didn't shy away from being a parent. At 16, you were mature enough to say, hey, I need to do something to prepare to be a mother. Like, where did that type of nurturing come from?
I had to grow up fast. It was not something that I could run away from. And I thank God I had a great support system in my parents. And I think after the initial shock of finding out I was pregnant, they supported me. They took care of me and my son, which gave me the opportunity to be able to go to trade school, to do something with myself. They didn't put me out, like a lot of parents do, but they supported me, and they saw me putting in that effort. So I wouldn't have been able to make it without them.
Wow. Wow. I wanna tap into the ROTC side for a minute. You know, you was at Cleveland. What was your first couple years at Cleveland? What was that experience like? We always ask individuals that went to Cleveland, they come on the podcast show. What was your experience like at ROTC? You came out of 8th grade, came to ROTC as a freshman. There's rules, there's discipline. You got to wear uniforms. You got to shine your shoes. Was that a shocking moment for you? You know, how did you handle that transition?
It was not, because I went to Pruitt. I went to Pruitt 6th through 8th grade. So
hold up.
After transition.
Hold up, Miss Campbell. Hold up. Pump your brakes now. Pump your brakes. I went to Pruitt too.
Yes, sir. I
went to Pruitt too. Yeah. You know what? We gonna have to do some researching. Because you know what? The Campbells, hey, we might be connected in some way. But I went to Pruitt too.
Yeah. Yeah, so ROTC was a natural transition for me.
Wow. So go, Tish. Mm-hmm.
You said something that a lot of people don't speak on. You know, a lot of people think the traditional way is you go to high school, you graduate, you go to college. And that's not, I'm not knocking anybody who do that. But even back then, a trade school wasn't the typical thing. It wasn't common, you know, as common today as it is today. But even back then, you thought to even go to a trade school. Trade school wasn't even in my thought. It was always, you go to high school, you go to college. Like,
that's what they instilled in us.
Trade school at that point.
Yeah, and that had been the initial plan the whole time. You know, I mean, I was devastated because I wanted to be a pediatrician. You know, or I wanted to go into the Air Force. It was one of those two, and that was the path that I was on. But even in the midst of the best made plans, life happens. You know,
right.
So I knew I couldn't go to a 4-year college like I wanted to, but I knew I had to do something. You know, so yeah, I was definitely, you know, a part of that crowd that thought, you know, high school, college, you know, follow the stages as it was laid out, but that wasn't the plan that God had for me, you know. And I tell my kids to this day, I did it backwards, you know. I have no regrets.
Yes.
No regrets.
You know what? I'm always a believer of this, especially as I got older. You know, our steps is already ordered.
Absolutely.
They're already ordered. Our path is already, it's just, we have to just walk it. It's already set for us. You know what I'm saying? So it's a song by Fantasia that she sings. A lot of people don't know about it, but it's called Necessary.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Necessary.
I know that
it was necessary to go through that path to get to where you are today. It was necessary. It wasn't by accident. You know, it was the way God had the path for you.
Absolutely.
And you know, I'm just a true believer of that. Doing that, I want to talk about, man, you went back to school later on. Pretty much it was about a 11 to 12 year span.
Yeah.
You went back
in between that time, you know, I had my second kid at 21, had a daughter, had the twins at 24, married and divorced, you know, and I said to myself, here I am, 24, 25 years old with 4 kids, you know. Back then, the big thing was, and I think it still is a big thing, what do you have to bring to the table? You know, and I thought about that long and hard. And I said, God, before I get into another relationship, I want to better me. I want to work on me. You know, so I decided to go back to school. And initially I enrolled in community college at Forest Park. And halfway through my first semester, I was just going to get my associates, you know. Halfway through my first semester, God said, if you're going to do it all the way.
Do it all the way.
You know what, LaToya, I'm listening to you, and I got a few years on you, but our lives are almost parallel. It's like crazy. I'm listening to you, but it's almost like mirroring myself.
Wow.
I too have 4 children, and I went through quite a bit. Lost my mom early on in age, but by the age of 27, I have 4 children. Searching, and I'm looking at you, and I'm wondering, because you, like me, we were raised, we have great foundations, we have great family support. We made choices in life that put us in our situations, but we didn't run from choices we made. We stood there, we faced them, we took accountability for them. We chose to be moms and raise our children. And when I look at you, like, I ask myself, like, what were you looking for that you kept having child after child, and for me, when I think about it, I always wanted a family. I thought about what I didn't have with my mom and dad because I had young parents. I personally wanted to have my own family. So, but the unfortunate part for me is that I was looking for a grown man and young men who weren't ready to be men at that time, if that makes sense. Absolutely. So even though I was mature in my mind, they weren't. They were still boys.
Absolutely.
So even when I think about that, so when you think about, being a young mom, you had your first child, your second child, then your twins, and even married, do you think that you were searching for anything like in that era, or, was life just life?
Absolutely. My parents were together 46 years. So I had always had a 2-parent household. I was the only girl with 3 brothers.
Wow.
But I was looking for that. I was looking for what they had. My mom was probably 13, 14 when my parents got together. So I definitely wanted that. And after I had my twins, and I realized, because my mindset was always, me having kids outside of wedlock was the product of my sin. I never chased down their dads for child support or anything like that, because all I could do was take accountability for my role in it.
That's right.
And I said, with or without them, these are my children. I have to raise them. But after I had those twins, I learned my lesson. I got my tubes tied. I said, I'm not getting up off this table till you tie these tubes, because I don't want to find myself in that situation again, where I'm having children by fathers that aren't present.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. I want to ask you, LaToya, during that process, you in school, you have your children, you got to study, you got to be a mom, you got to provide for them, roof, food, shelter. How was that? How did you take all of that on? Did you get overwhelmed at times? Did you have the, you know what, I can't quit. I got to have the go-go mentality. What was that doing, that transition? What was that like with all such a heavy load on you at that time? How did you deal with that?
Sleep was little and in between. When I did all my prereqs at community college, and then transferred to go for the actual nursing part. So while I was going to community college, I was doing that part-time. But once you get to the nursing part, that's full-time.
That's full-time, right?
Exactly. So I was working full-time. I was going to school full-time. Plenty of nights I would cry myself to sleep with books spread out all over the bed. I would leave work and go straight to school. Pick my kids up 9, 10 o'clock at night when I got out of school, just to go home and get up and do it all over again the next day. So it was, and I always say, if I had it to do again, I don't know if I would have been able to make it. It took me 5 years. It took me 5 years to get my bachelor's. But I knew I could not quit. I knew I could not quit. And I had people telling me that I was a bad parent, that my dreams, no longer mattered because I had kids to raise, and I had to tell them, I'm doing this for my kids.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
For my kids, And it was very hard. It was very hard in the face of people. You already feeling in yourself that you want to quit because it's so hard. But when you have people telling you that you need to quit and just focus on being a parent and continuing to struggle, you know, that made it even harder, you know. But I always tell people, the worst thing you can tell me is that I cannot do something.
That's right.
Because I'm gonna do everything in my power to prove you wrong.
You sure you're not my sister? My goodness, you sound exactly like me. But you know what? You are what you call a generational curse breaker. Because had you listened to what they were saying, the traditional, oh, you're supposed to give up your life. No, you were creating the life.
How many people have?
You just had to make it it was a little bit more challenging because you did have the children, you know. So you had to put the kids on your back and keep it moving, you know. And I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, they spent years seeing me struggle. I let them see me struggle through school. They saw me struggle through life, but I let them see me struggle through school. You know, and so often that is the way that we are. We let our kids see us struggle, trying to provide and trying to put food on the table and pay bills. Let them see you struggle trying to better yourself.
That's right.
So that they know that there is more out there, that they can be somebody.
That's right.
You know, break those generational curses.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. And you know, with your kids, you know, you're going to school, your mom and you know, basically you being a mentor to them as well. You know, you provide, and I truly believe your kids, you know, seeing what they saw, you know, it has to be motivating to them. It has to be that, you know what, I watched my mom, you know, try to provide for us, provided for us, not try, provided for us. In so many ways, you went through what you went through, you know, and for those kids to have seen that, man, it's got to be motivating to them to say, you know what, the one door may close and, you know, another one may close, but, you know, watching my mom, you know, going through what she went through, you know, I got to keep going. I got to fight, you know, and in your story, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's a lot of people that's watching a podcast show that's in the same boat that you went through, you know, and your story is going to touch and inspire so many people that right now they on the fence. They don't know if they should give up. You got all the naysayers in this ear. You got people in this ear telling them to press on, but it's individuals like yourself that that will be that life for them. You know what I'm saying? To tell them to keep going because it may seem dark now, but it's light at the end of the tunnel. You know, as you're sitting here right now sharing with us.
Man, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do.
That's right.
And those 5 years of school, you know, it's a sacrifice, but it's a sacrifice for a greater future.
Because yes, ma'am.
And even for me to do it as late in life as I did, I was 33 years old when I graduated with my bachelor's. Like I said, it took me 5 years, but I've still been able to live so much life. I didn't leave St. Louis for the first time or fly on an airplane until I was 33 because my parents couldn't afford that, you know, and me finishing nursing school, all my kids have passports. We've been to multiple countries. They know what it is to fly and to travel. And this is all within the span of, because I've only been a nurse for 13 years. Wow. You know? But the sacrifice is so worth it when you look at what you'll get out of it. So buckle down, focus, get it done, do what you have to do because it's setting you up for a life that you can do whatever you want to do. There is nothing that my kids, my family, or anyone cannot ask me for, you know, and that was always, I used to always say, God, I want to be the lender and not the borrower.
Come on now. Come on.
And I honestly cannot tell you the last time that I've had to borrow money from anybody.
Move my chair. I'm about to run around this table.
What?
Let me tell you something.
Our stories are so similar. Like
Miss Campbell, you sound like this young lady on the platform.
when I
Miss
tell you,
Letitia, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling viewers.
I don't even have many
they,
questions.
oh
I'm really
God.
speechless. Like to just hear you
Okay.
articulate your
Yes.
wording, to tell your story. Like you are the story. And
Man,
I have
what a
one
blessing.
question for you. You mentioned Mr. Kelly stopping you that day. Me personally, I feel like the woman that you are and the young lady that you are even then with the support system that you come from. But I'm going to still ask this question. Do you feel that Mr. Kelly, what he did, stepping in, stopping in that moment, kind of changed the direction in your life? Could have went, you probably would have got there. Maybe it would have been a little bit slower. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? But how impactful was that for you in that moment?
I absolutely do. I think had I went to continuing it and followed in that path of being surrounded by all of these pregnant teenage mothers,
Mm.
I would have saw that as it was okay, that I didn't need to pursue anything greater or to be anything greater, because I'm surrounded. They're in the same boat that I'm in.
Same level, yeah.
So I could have gotten comfortable there,
Right.
and I absolutely think that is when God first interjected his hand into my life through Mr. Kelly. And I saw him at a concert last year at the Hollywood Casino. I think we were seeing Babyface. And I stopped him and I said, you would never know the impact that had, for you to see me. And I wasn't the first, teenager that got pregnant at ROTC. I wasn't the first person that left there and went to continuing ed. But for some reason, God saw fit for him to stop me and say, no, you're not leaving. You're not leaving.
Oh,
And
Mr.
That's one
Campbell.
of those moments when I think about the naval ball coming up, not just for us to reunite as alumni and friends, as family, but the fact that you get to see him being honored on this night, a person who made a difference in your life. This thing is always bigger than us. Our stories, your story, my story, DeAndre, it's never about us.
absolutely.
You understand? Whatever we go through is the path that God created because somebody else needs to be blessed from your story, from my story, from his story.
And they will.
Absolutely.
They
I
will.
cannot wait to honor and celebrate those that, paved the way and educated us
Yes.
and made an impact in our lives. Our educators don't get the credit that they deserve.
They
But
don't. They don't.
they are game changers. They really are.
Now, Miss Campbell,
Uh-oh.
I want to talk about the medical side of your profession.
Yeah.
You are in the operating room. You are seeing some of everything, right? Talk about those experiences, because I'm gonna tell you right now, you got to have a strong gut to endure some of the things that you probably have seen. I want to talk about the medical side, operating room. Tell me about that, the experiences and this and that. I've been waiting to ask this question.
Yeah, so it's crazy. When I was in nursing school, I was a medical assistant in a surgical office. So we would see the patients post-op, remove the stitches and staples and things like that. I think that's where my fascination with surgery kind of started.
Really?
But back then they didn't allow new grad nurses to go into the operating room. They wanted you to have experience on the floor before you went into the operating room. But it just so happened that, one of the surgeons that I was working with in the office was the chief of surgery at St. Mary's. So he put in a good word for me and got me in the OR.
Wow. Favorite.
Absolutely. And it being an OR nurse in an inner city hospital, so humbling. And I used to always tell people the thing that I loved most about my job was holding my patient's hand and praying over them as they went to sleep.
Girl, get out of here.
Because we have to understand surgery is the most vulnerable place in a patient's life because they can't speak for themselves. They're sedated, they're under anesthesia. So they're depending on you to be that voice for them. And I had patients of all age ranges. I'll never forget, I had a patient that was 33 years old. And she came in because she had been having abdominal pain, abdominal issues, so she just came in for, an exploratory lab just to see, what was going on. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we opened her up, cancer everywhere, cancer everywhere. Wow. And all he could do was close her back up. There was nothing, 33 years old. And it keeps you so humble because no matter how bad things may be, someone else always has it worse.
I have to pause you because I'm over here about to scream on the inside, just listening to you. And I keep saying our stories are so similar. Our stories are so similar.
Retired EMT.
Paramedic. And so just listening to you talk, like you in the OR, but I'm the person, I'm on the street. I'm there to pick them up and get them to you, and just like you to be in our environment, in our community, trying to work for our people. I work for all people, but I can honestly say, like, I treat everyone equal across the board. And sometimes when I feel that we're underserved, I make sure we're served, if that makes
sense. Absolutely.
So, the prayers that you're talking about, the conversations that you're talking about, I had all those same prayers and conversations on the way to the medic unit, holding hands to get them to you, to make sure that they could live like. So just listening to you, it's just like, I just know that I always say that this naval ball is bigger than whatever we think it is. Mm-hmm. God have a purpose for Cleveland NJROTC and its alumni. And I think once we're all in that room together, we're going to find out something, because I don't know what it is, but even just listening to you, I'm just truly amazed.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So excited.
I think this is bigger than a party.
We've come a long way. There's not a lot of us in surgery. I won't say there's not a lot of us as nurses, but there's not a lot of us in surgery. I would love to change that. Because it's such a rewarding field, and we need more representation in the patients that we are caring for. That's why I am a part of BJC's Diverse Nurse Connection Group, to bridge that gap, and addressing those biases of how often the caregivers do not represent the population that's being cared for. And as a result, you have people that are not receiving adequate care. They're misdiagnosed, they're stereotyped, or they just don't see care at all. Wow. And we have to be a part of trying to better that, even if it's just a small part, doing what we can to try to bridge that gap. Because I'll never forget when I first started. You're talking about 2014. I'm not thinking anything of myself. And I was caring for a patient that had their mom with them, and they were like, "You're the nurse? Like, you're really the nurse?" I'm like,
wow!
Yeah. and they were just so shocked and so grateful. And I was like, I didn't, but it just goes to show how big the gap was even then. That people feel like Black nurses, especially in surgery, were just so unheard of or unfounded.
Right.
How do we change that? Like, what would you recommend for a young lady who may be listening to your story, who may like what you're doing and may be interested? How do they get to that point? Like, do you have any suggestions on what steps they need to take to get to that point?
We have to get in the room.
Have a seat at the table.
Absolutely. It's so intimidating sometimes, because most leadership meetings that I'm in at work, I'm probably the only one, or one of two or three. And you're talking about a room with 75 to 100 people, and it's so intimidating to where you don't want to speak up or want to be that voice. But I have to be here because I have to be the voice for my people. You know, so I would tell them, get in the rooms, get a seat at that table, educate yourselves, because you have just as much right as they do. You know, because we know, you know, what nursing is. It's a predominantly, you know, white female field, but we have just as much right to be there as they do. We have just as much right to those positions, those higher positions, as they do. And I'm not stopping. I'm not taking no for an answer.
Wow.
Ms. Campbell, let me ask you another question. Have you ever had to make a decision while in the operating room where you might have saw something, something was said that you knew wasn't right? I don't think this is the right procedure. Were there times where you had to say something to the surgeon, like you know it's not right, and you might feel uncomfortable saying it, but like, I have to mention this? Were there times like that in the operating room where you had to kind of like say, hey, you know, are you sure we should be doing this? You know, we're used to doing it this way. Now things are different. Have you ever been in that situation before?
OR nursing is very type A. And you have to be very type A because you have to be okay speaking up. We call it stopping the line. You have to be okay to stop the line if you see something that goes against policy, procedure, protocol, all of that. And I used to get, my manager used to get compliments from surgeons the way I used to run my room, because I didn't play. I didn't play. And
I can tell listening to you.
Yeah, I did not. When it was time for timeout, where we review everything about the case before we get started, everyone is supposed to stop. Everyone is supposed to be attentive. I made sure that you stopped because so many times staff has gotten comfortable in the way that they do things, and we had wrong site surgeries. You know, we've operated on the left side and it should have been the right side because we get so comfortable. So it's definitely a place where you have to have, we call it the OR voice. You have to be able to utilize your OR voice to speak up and call out something that you know is not right. You know? And that's even to surgeons, because I tell my staff all the time, they're not gods. Their word is not the final say. They know how to do surgery, but they don't know surgical protocol and standards as far as everything outside of that technical skill that they learned in school. So if their hands fall below a certain way, if they standing too close to the table and they're not sterile, you know, if they're reaching over, anything like that, you have to be able to speak up and have and say something. You know, I definitely I take it very seriously.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Being I don't like to use the word minority because in my opinion, I'm not a minority, but to be an African-American female in the OR room, do you find that it's intimidating because sometimes we can be considered too strong, you know, and come across that people don't like us because you do have that OR voice, you know, and because you have that voice and you utilize that voice, people may tend to not like you or want to work with you because of it. Do you find yourself running into that?
Absolutely. I struggle with that in leadership. And definitely because I am the only Black in leadership there. I don't want to bring out that stereotype of being the angry Black woman. So I have to be very conscious of what I say, how I say it, but still be able to get my point across. And it's a struggle sometimes.
Oh yeah,
it's a struggle. You know, I've had people complain about me, you know, the way that I approach things. But my thing is, I'm not going to coddle you, and I'm not going to play with you because we're dealing with people's lives.
Come on,
you know, so I cannot cupcake you when you're making mistakes in surgery that can affect this patient's life. You know, and I think for the most part, they respect that, they appreciate that, because leadership is basically it's almost like adult daycare, you know. And just like children, they need structure. They need, you know, that guideline to say, hey, I can't cross this, otherwise they'll run amok, you know. So I think for the most part, they respect it because they know that I'm not doing it in a way that is demeaning or condescending. So I think they respect that. But I always have to be mindful of my approach.
Wow. So relatable.
You have 4 children. You got twins.
I do.
Did any of your children, did they follow in your footsteps? Any of them in the medical field, or
Well,
they doing it in different professions?
One of my twins just finished school to be a medical assistant.
Okay, yeah.
Their goal is to go on to be a PA, a physician's assistant.
Okay.
You know, so they're just starting out. I tried to get my daughter to do it, but all the blood and stuff, she said she couldn't do it.
She said, "Let me tell you something. When I cut that pork chop and I see a little blood coming out, I get,
oh Lord,
it just do something to me. I'm gonna tell you right now, Miss Campbell. When I was married, I watched both of my kids. You know, the procedure, kids being born, and let me tell you something. I thought I was that sight. That sight was one of the most. It was unbelievable to see a human being coming right on out down the slide.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm just seeing all. Let me tell y'all something. This is a true story, Miss Campbell and LaToya. Let me tell y'all something. When my son was born, and when he was coming out, I said, "Damn, his head! I'm freaking out." Dr. Powell said, "Man, get that leg, man. Hold that, pull that leg back." I grabbed the leg, pulled it on back, so my son was coming out, and I'm looking like, "Oh my God!" You know, you got all kind of the juices and stuff. Y'all know it is on the baby, this and that. You seen the cord. But let me tell y'all something, Miss Campbell.
It was after.
He said, "All right, man, take the scissors, cut it." He let me cut it. So they wrapping the baby, hold him, this and that. I'm looking. Then all of a sudden, they start pushing on her stomach. And I was like, "Damn, she got twins?" I seen something else coming out. I didn't know that the baby was in that bag. What they call it, the placenta?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know the baby was in that bag, Miss Campbell. When that bag, LaToya, when that bag came out of her, it was over. Y'all almost fainted. They just Miss Campbell, they had to grab me. They had to set me down, put water and ice on me. I said, "Y'all did the ultrasound. You didn't tell me she was having twins."
Oh my God!
I thought it was another baby, but it was the bag that the baby was in.
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all something. Hey, that was an experience for me, so I can imagine the things that you see.
That's about as controlled of surgery.
Yeah.
That's very controlled. Like we don't even consider OB surgery.
So I'm just letting you know. I'm gonna tell you, you have to really have you have to really have that in you. And my niece, she's my niece, she's an RN too, and she tell me some of the stories that goes on and this and that. But I'm gonna tell you, but my second child, Miss Campbell, I was ready. I was ready. And let me tell you something. I thought I was Dr. Powell. I knew what was gonna happen, and this and that, and so that happened, and then of course the placenta came out, so I was ready for it. But I'm gonna tell you, Miss Campbell, let me tell you something. I salute you.
Thank you.
If I had a hat on, I'd take it off right now.
Thank you.
I salute you because, man, it's not many of us in that field. Just as well as LaToya, it's not many of you all in that field. And you have to be that person to stand up and sometimes, ruffle the feathers, because you know what's right and what's wrong. And I'm gonna tell you, this field is not for everybody. And I salute you, Miss Campbell. Like, man, your story, you know, everything that you went through, and man, what the song say?
I got one more thing to say.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
You know, just really, I seem like I'm kind of speechless tonight because I'm just marinating on your story. Like, it's amazing.
Oh, this is awesome. I'm telling you.
And when I think about you saying your parents were married for 46 years, so you grew up with love, you know, a family.
That's right.
You and your siblings are close. Mm-hmm. And I have to ask that question, was it a little disappointment from your brothers when they found out that you were pregnant and your mom? Because I found out later on from my brother the disappointment, but I'm going to ask you a question. Was it more supportive, or was it a little bit of disappointment, you know, but then probably turned around to be, you know, supporting of you?
You know, I honestly don't know. You know, back then we weren't as close as we are now. And Ephraim was always the quiet one, and my oldest son never had his father in his life. Mm-hmm. But my oldest son had a father, mm-hmm. and it was Ephraim. Mm. He raised my son, and I tell anybody, if you give credit to anyone for the man that my son is today, it goes to him. Aww. He had my son in league baseball. He traveled with him. He never missed a practice, never missed a game, you know, and that stuff is expensive. Oh yeah. But all while I was working and while I was in school, my son never got snatched by the streets because my brother kept his hand on him. You know. So were they ever disappointed in me? I don't know. You know, possibly, you know, could have been.
You just answered the question. You know, he was quiet, regardless of whatever his feelings were, if he even had them. We don't know. Exactly. But the thing we do know is that he was going to support his sister.
He showed up.
He did.
Nephew. So he showed his action. So if I had to answer the question, he could have been a little disappointed, a little hurt. But he said, you know what, sis, I got you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I love it.
Let me tell y'all something, boy. I'm so caught up right now. And man, that old gospel song saying you look back over your life and you look at your past and look where you're at now.
I am truly blessed, and I have.
Come on now. Oh, Marvin Sapp says, so glad I made it.
So glad I made it.
I made it through.
Absolutely.
But you know what? It takes a village. And even today, I was just thinking about kind of what we're talking about right now. When I hear your story, even DeAndre, his parents together 60 plus years, your parents 46 years. Yeah. You know, me, I didn't have that. I had young parents, so I grew up in a single family home, but my mom and my dad were both active in my life, if that makes sense. But just today, I was thinking, we got to start showing our children a family. We need structure in the homes. We have to figure out how to change the dynamics of our households, of our children, because we can't leave it up to the streets. You know, we need more Ephraims to step up and take care of the nephews so that they don't get robbed by the streets, you know, the system. We got to figure out how to become the village.
Absolutely.
You know, this thing that's going on today, it cannot continue to happen. We just, you know, I'm thankful for you that you're in and to make a difference. And, you know, as I'm listening, I know later on after this naval ball, we all gonna come together, because the whole time you and DeAndre were talking, I'm like, we got a school. She mentioned trade. We're gonna have an ROTC trade school. We got a nurse, we got educators, we got potential coaches. We just gotta make it happen.
I've been in talks with Goldfarb to be a mentor for their nursing students. You know, those that are coming out, minority nurses that are coming out, and just need that support as they make the transition from, you know, school into their career. So there's definitely opportunity. There's definitely opportunity, and I'm ready to work. Ready to work.
You are definitely a bright and shining star, man. Thank you, Ephraim. Thank you for putting us in contact with your sister, because you are so humble. You probably wouldn't have done it yourself and reached out to us. We would have never known your story, and the world would not have been able to hear your story. So thank you, Ephraim, for putting us in contact with LaToya, and just thank you for just be willing to share your story, because it's a young lady or young man who's going to hear this story and be blessed, who's going to be inspired. Like, I'm inspired. Like, man, thank you. It means a lot to know that you're in position, that we got somebody just looking out.
If I could just say one thing to encourage our young mothers, that is not the end of the story. And we are in the day and age where teenage pregnancy is not the end all be all. You can still succeed. You can still thrive. Take them babies along that journey with you. Like I said, you let them see you struggle to survive day to day. Let them see you struggle to better yourself and to succeed and to provide a better life for them. With God, all things are possible.
Come on now.
All things are possible. So don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on yourself. Make that sacrifice to provide a better life for you and your children.
Well, come to a close, ladies and gentlemen. I want to ask you this. Are you ready for the Alumni Naval Ball?
I'm ready.
Miss Campbell, are you ready?
I like to dress up. So
let me tell you something, Miss Campbell.
To see all my classmates,
yes.
To fellowship and to reminisce and to, go down memory lane. I can't wait.
Let me tell you something. We are, man, Letitia and I, we've been working this thing, last 6-7 months, and it's, like I said, it's right around the corner. It's going to be
amazing.
A celebration.
You guys have done an amazing job.
Thank you.
Oh, let me tell you something. But guess what, Miss Campbell? Many hands lighten the load.
Absolutely.
It took a village of people. Everything that we needed for this event, God has provided. Everything. And we're going to talk about it at the Naval Ball. You talk about a smooth transition. We needed that. That came. Man, we need this. That came. Well, we need to get this to Jeff City. That came. All the pieces to the puzzle. That's how you know it's a blessed event and everything was aligned for the good. What?
Yes, he will.
Well, Miss Campbell, Letitia, any closing words for Miss Campbell?
Just keep being great. Keep allowing God to use you first. Keep being a bright and shining light in the OR. Keep inspiring our youth. And to be continued. I can't wait to see what that is.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
I tell you what, thank you so much, Ms. LaToya Campbell. And for those that might have been tuning in late, you can always go back on our Facebook page. We share all the information. You also go to our YouTube page, On Deck with Dinka Letitia, to hear this amazing story from Ms. LaToya Campbell, her journey to start. I say journey to stardom. Started from the bottom, and look where God has you. Look at the place where he has you at right now. And we just, it was a blessing to have you on our platform.
Yes, it was. Thank you. Keep being great.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Miss Campbell.
Guys, see you at the ball.
Yes.
All right, see you at the ball. Thank you again.
She is so inspiring, man. Like, she's inspiring me to be better than what I am right now. Like, she got me want to cross T's and dot I's. Am I doing everything that I can do? Like, she's amazing. DeAndre, I'm telling you, like, we have some amazing people, some amazing stories that's coming out of ROTC, and These stories need to be told, and these stories have a purpose. And if we just continue to follow God's path, we're going to see what that purpose is. Don't follow our own journeys. And sometimes the path that is leading us down is not the direction we want to go, but it's necessary. It's necessary.
Thank you, LaToya.
16 years old, sophomore in high school, making those type of decisions to do great. She didn't settle for failure. She did not settle for those voices that tried to tell her what she shouldn't be doing, that her life was over. Her kids are able to have life experiences because of it. Kudos to her to keep on going.
LaToya, I asked her what song she wanted to come out to, and she said, "A Greater Is Coming" by Jacayla Cole.
A Greater came.
I already had it in my playlist. But for those viewers that's listening, if you never heard this song before, go to YouTube, go to Apple Music, put in Jacayla Cole. The Greater Is Coming. Talked about the 3 branches in order for it to bloom. LaToya, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm caught up, I'm blessed, I'm grateful and thankful. I'm grateful to still have my dad alive. Family. LaToya's been a good show.
Great
show. Great show. Thank you everybody for tuning in. LaToya, always it's never right. I always give you the last words. Take us out, Tish.
I don't even know if I have any words. Just thank you everybody for tuning in. Please like and share LaToya's story. Man, this is worthy of a share. This is worthy of a rerun. Let's listen to her story. It's so inspiring. And then let's all just figure out what we're doing currently in our life. How can we inspire someone? I want you to ask yourself that. Am I doing everything that I can to help someone? Am I being a shadow that I need to be for somebody else? Is it more that I should be doing? Is the Lord asking me to answer a call and I keep ignoring them? Like, there's work to do. If you are in a position to do more, do more. Let's be a blessing to someone else. Look forward to seeing you guys September the 12th. Thank you for tuning in and see you guys next week. Bye.